And we're here at the start line for the men's senior double. Um, Second last race of the day. We've got in lane 2 Montreal, lane 3 Peterborough, lane 4 CRI, lane 5 Penn AC, lane 6 another Peterborough crew, and lane 7 that is RAZ. That is the Rowing Association of Zimbabwe.
With the last name Zimmerman, I've been eyeing those Zimbabwe t-shirts all week.
Do they just have a large Z on them?
They say Zim.
Oh, that is fantastic. You've got to get one of those, Allie.
I'm working on it.
This should be a really exciting race that's just getting underway here. As I said, the second last race, the men's senior double, off to a pretty clean start. Does look like Peterborough in lane 3 might have gotten their bow just ahead.
Really exciting to see these guys from Peterborough. You've got, of course, Graham Peters, who won the senior men's single yesterday. Dan Bullock, who won the under 23 men's single not much more than 2 hours ago, Brent.
Very exciting. We'll see what Peterborough in lane 6 can do and see if their teammates in lane 3, Owen Kane and Jonathan Butler, if they can chase them down or maybe even overtake them. Of course, other crews like CRI's Ian Engstrom and Nicholas Potter, or the other middle top-seeded crew, Penn AC, Kynan and another Ian. See what those crews, I'm sure they're not going to let either Peterborough boat walk away.
Last year, of course, our winner came from Fedimex, a Mexican contingent who often come up as one of our many international visitors to the Royal Canadian Henley Regatta.
CRI, of course, from Boston, a mainstay here at the Royal Canadian Henley Regatta. Stroke seat, that is Nicholas Potter. He just finished his freshman year at Cornell, where he's also had his mother, aunt, and a cousin attend Cornell. Bow seat, Ian Engstrom. He is a whopping 6'8". He also just finished his freshman year at the University of Washington. His father rowed at Cornell, so a bit of a Cornell connection in the CRI boat between the two of them. Ian's grandfather rowed at Harvard.
Certainly looks like Penn AC and Peterborough lane 6 duking it out, but you've got Owen Kane and John Butler who are not going to back down. Owen Kane, actually a lightweight rower.
Always a big fan of the lightweights doing well. Trying to beat up on some heavyweights, and that Montreal double actually of Sam Carmel and Craig McCullough doing a pretty good job of actually sticking with the pack there.
Now, all of the members of both of these Peterborough crews, they actually set a world record this past year rowing. I'm going to get this wrong. I want to say they erged 1 million meters.
I am quite familiar with that record, actually. How many athletes did they have doing this? Do you
They
know?
had about 17 athletes that were involved in this, and I believe they did it in just over 62 or 64 hours.
That is pretty impressive. I do know that Concept 2, the makers of the rowing machine, synonymous with pain, I think, from some athletes. Great training tool, though. What Concept 2 does is on their website you can find kind of these ultra distant records. So they have things like 1,000,000 meters or 100,000 meters, and it's broken into categories by age, weight class, gender, but also small team or big team, which I believe tends to be 10 athletes or fewer, or basically greater than 10 athletes. I say this, of course, familiar. The program I coach went after one of these records in the fall. It can take a lot of organization to make that happen.
I just had to do my fact checking. It was 1,000 kilometers in just over 64 hours. So with the 17 athletes.
That is really exciting. And yeah, the athletes just cruising through this third 500. Did look to be a pretty close race so far, so it'll be interesting to see as they approach kind of the 1250 mark. Going to be another minute and a half until we start to see how the race is unfolding as they draw parallel to the camera that we're watching through right now. But I'm really excited to see how the rest of this exciting race plays out.
I'm certainly very invested in this one. A lot of friends that I see on the draw here, they're competing for the Hop Bitters Challenge Cup. When the Canadian Association of Amateur Oarsmen held their very first regatta in 1880, this Challenge Cup for the double sculls was one of 3 Challenge Cups that was offered for competition. It is the only one that's still in competition for the event that it was named, or that it was dedicated to. The company also sponsored a number of duel races, often featuring Toronto's favorite contemporary sculler, Ned Hanlon. According to a company ad, hop bitters was a medicine which cured neuralgia, kidney, liver, and stomach complaints. The company founder claimed the elixir would cure all diseases of the stomach, nervousness, sleeplessness, female complaints, and drunkenness. The company unfortunately dissolved in 1892, but its name lives on because of the trophy donated back in 1880.
That is a really interesting fact.
I really enjoyed that one.
I see on your notes it does say best trophy ever, Ali.
And I'm sure it's going to be a pretty sweet trophy for whoever takes it home. It looks like Pen AC and the big guys from Peterborough, Dan and Graham, who are just striding away from the rest of the pack. But as we pan through at the 1,500 meter mark, you can see Dan and Graham just taking a quick look over because Pen AC not
much to give. Maybe a second, maybe two between the two, which is not a lot, particularly in the doubles that really don't take too much extra effort to bring up to speed. Montreal cruising through third place, actually, in front of the rest of the field. So well done to Montreal. But it is Kynan and Ian out of Pen AC trying to chase down Graham and Daniel from Peterborough. And they've got 500 meters to basically close a second or two.
With a good sprint, nothing's really out of the question, Brent. I have no doubt it's going to come down to who's got enough left in the tank, really.
And it's not like these are inexperienced athletes. From Pen AC, Balseat, that is Kynan. He raced at Junior Worlds in 2007, 2008 in the quad and the single. And Stroke Seat, Ian, he raced at the 2013 and 2015 World University Games. So two very experienced athletes. They have raced on the international stage before, but of course Graham Peters, a former under-23 world champion in the quad in 2014 or 2015. Do you know, Ali?
Well, I'm going to say 2015.
Okay, well, either way, they approach the red buoys, and it does still look to be Peterborough with, I think, about the same lead. Still not a lot, so running out of time for Pen AC to try and make up that gap, but Peterborough really stepping on the gas. I think they're trying to clean up and step away from the field.
Pen AC, certainly a crew that I was always nervous to line up against. Definitely, if anybody can give these two Peterborough guys a run for their money, it's going to be Pen AC. It does look like Graham and Dan have strode away a little bit.
Graham rowing very cleanly, really tall and long, setting the tone, and yeah, just making sure it's not close as they take, unofficially of course, the men's double.
And a very sweet little hug from Graham and Dan. But those guys, that's for both of them, their second Henley Gold. That's Dan's second Henley Gold today.
That is, wow, good for them. And you know what? As much as that comes through today's race, it does look like I think Montreal just came third, followed by Peterborough. All of that effort, as much as it comes out today on the race course, that comes from not only the months of training in the winter and in the spring, but just years. We talked about the pedigree of these athletes. They've gone to international events other times in this decade, a couple years ago. So they've put the time in over the years. They've honed their technique. They've honed their cardiovascular base.
Nice shot there, too, in the bottom of our screen as we watched the final there. The Mendota Coxie getting a nice toss into Martindale Pond.